Hi students, this is Mr. Yao. In this video, I'm going to talk about question 8 and 9 in your 2.5a My Open Math assignment. These two are the two of the harder questions on linear equation. So let's have a look. Question 8. Solve the equation s over r plus 5 equals t over r. So let me copy down the equation first. S over r plus 5 equals t over r. And it's asking you to solve for r. The reason it's hard is because, well, r is actually in the denominator. And that's the issue. Because in order to get it, to solve for it, we actually need to completely separate it. But now it's in the denominator. Even if we get rid of the numerator, we still have a 1 over r. However, in previous lessons, we have learned something called clear the fractions. Let me write the term on the top, clear the fractions. That's how we actually get rid of the denominator, or in this case, that's how we can get a variable out of the denominator. So we have a r, and this is basically 5 over 1, that's another r. So if you look at all the denominators, the common denominator is actually, so in that case, I'm going to multiply every single term by r. Okay, s over r times r over 1. Well, it's sr over r, so it's just left with an s. Then 5 over 1 times r is just 5r equals t over r times an r over 1 is tr over r, which is just a t. And now see, as soon as I get the r out of the denominator, well, I only have 1 r left. So now it's easier. I can just move the s over. So I have 5r equals t minus s. And then divide both sides by 5. And typically when we divide things, we're going to divide all of them separately. So r equals t over 5 minus s over 5. There we go. That is question 8. And question 9. Question 9 is a little bit more complicated because in this case, things are a little bit different. But you can still see, let me copy down the question first. It's 1 over r minus 5 over s equals 2 over t. But you can see r is still just in it's still in the denominator, which is why this question is still harder. However, we're going to need to deal with this in a different way. Because if we still do the same thing, it involves something you guys haven't learned. You won't learn that next year. You can actually choose to multiply everything by r, then you're going to need to use something called factor. But in this case, we haven't learned that, but there's still another way to solve it. So you see, in this case, it's a little bit easier, even though it's in the denominator, but we only have 1 r. So in that case, as soon as we can actually just separate the 1 over r, then things will be a bit easier. So I'm going to add 5 over s on both sides. So I have 1 over r equals 2 over t plus 5 over s. And now this is the same as adding fractions. So let's quickly recap on how to add fractions. Let's say you have 2/3 plus 4/5. In order to actually add them, you need a common denominator. So the common denominator would be a 15. And in that case, in order to get the 3 to a 15, you need to multiply that by a 5 on the top and the bottom to get to a 15. So this becomes a 10 over 15. Then for the 4 over 5, in order to get the 5 to be a 15, you need to multiply by a 3, and you got to do it on the top and the bottom. So it becomes 12 over 15. And then we can just add the top. So it's going to be 22 over 15. Okay, so for this, even though they're letters, they still work the same way. We have a denominator as a t, the other denominator is an s. So that basically means the common denominator is a ts. In order to get the t to ts, you need to multiply the top and the bottom by an s. And that means we have 2s on the top. In order to get the s to a ts, I need to multiply the top and the bottom by a t. So that gives me 5t. Okay, so again, let me copy it down. 1 over r equals 2s plus 5t over ts. Now you see r is on the bottom of the fraction. In order to just get r by itself, well, I just need to completely flip the fraction. So I'm going to flip the left side of the fraction and the right side of the fraction. because whatever I do to the left side, as long as I do the same on the right side, the equation still works. So when I flip it over, r over 1, it equals to ts was on the bottom, now it's on the top, and then 2s plus 5t was on the bottom, now it's on the top. So in fact, r just equals to ts over 2s plus 5t. There you go. That is the final answer. So that is question 9. You will see 2 more similar questions in later of the assignments, but it should be almost exactly the same, just changing the numbers. Thank you.